What's up, guitar friends? Welcome back to the channel. I got a cool little lesson to show you guys today. So what we're going to be talking about is beefing up your chord solos using passing diminished chords. This is a really cool sound used by all the jazz greats. Django Reinhardt, Joe Pass, everybody has used this, although I primarily kind of think of Wes Montgomery when I hear this sound because he used it all the time. This is nothing really new. A lot of gospel chord progressions use the same idea, and really probably goes back to Bach. The idea is that we can harmonize melody notes in between two chord voicings using a fully diminished seventh chord. So I put together a whole bunch of examples of this for you to work through. There's a nice little PDF of all these examples. As always, you can download it for free from my website. I'll put a link in the description, and you can go there and get the whole PDF of all the examples. So in this first example, we're going to take G minor chords on the high strings, and we're going to move between them using all diminished chords. Here's all four of our basic G minor 7 inversions on the high strings. So G minor, now here's the trick. So in between each one of those chords, moving up, we're going to play this chord shape. In this chord shape, any note could be the root note, since diminished is completely symmetrical. Now this chord, if we think about it, is really the same as D7 flat 9. We know in the key of G that just happens to be the 5 chord. You could think about this as G minor, D7, G minor. Now here's that same idea going all the way up through all of those G minor chords. Makes like a little scale out of just the G minor chords, right? And actually would recommend practicing it that way, up and down, as if it were a scale. So you can take your new scale and practice improvising just like you would with a normal single note line in a solo. All right, you get the idea. You could do the same thing with major, like a C major. Now let's try using it, harmonizing an entire diatonic scale. So I've written all this out in C major, obviously try it in other keys. First, let's just review our diatonic 7th chords in the key of C. So we've got C major 7. These are all root position chords, should be like, jazz guitar 101. Obviously practice that like a scale 2, going up and down. All right, in the next couple examples, I'm going to show you guys how to reharmonize a 1-6-2-5 progression in the key of C, which is one of the most common bread and butter, meat and potatoes progressions that you're going to encounter in pretty much any kind of jazz music. So our basic chords are going to be C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, and G7. So we've all heard this, right? Like let's talk about how we can reharmonize that using some of these diminished passing chords. So the first step, obviously, is instead of playing the A minor, we'll just sub in the C sharp diminished, walking up from the C to the D, right? So instead of C, A minor, D, G, we're going to go C, C sharp, D, G, C, C sharp, D. So the next thing we can do, which is technically not really like a passing chord, but we can use those diminished chords as a 5 chord resolving to the 1 chord. So first, for example, like the G7 going to the C, right? We know that G sharp diminished 7 is the same thing as G7 flat 9, so we can use that diminished chord in place of the G chord, okay? So we're going to play G sharp diminished 7th in place of the G7. In context, it sounds like this. C, A minor, D minor, G sharp diminished, C, A. Or maybe combining this with the earlier example where we walked up from the G up to the C. So let's take it one more level and say that we're going to sub out the A minor for an A7 instead of A minor 7. So instead of this, here's the original way. C, A minor. Now we're going to play C, A7. And to take this truly next level, what we're going to do is now superimpose the diminished chord on top of the A7, okay? So we've got this. C, A sharp diminished, leading to the D, and then the G sharp diminished, leading to the C. So now our progression could sound like this. C, so in this next little example, I just took that same 2-bar phrase and wrote out an idea that combined all of those things together. Something you might hear like Wes play on a record. 2, 3, 4, 1. Alright, so that's it for the lesson today, guys. I hope that you got some good out of this. If so, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Really appreciate all the new subs. We're almost at 2,000, so it's really exciting. I got more content coming out, so, stick around. See you in the next video. Peace.